Hey guys, Sire Goku here, long time no see. I got myself a new HD PVR, so let's test it out, shall we? Now that I can finally record Switch, I'm gonna do an LP of Mega Man 11. Enjoy the opening plot. After this logo is done, sorry. Alright, plot.
I strongly believe Albert's research must stop.
Light! We can't build the future on your empty optimism.
Say what you will, I cannot agree to this. Please listen.
No, you listen to this! At every turn, you've ignorantly blocked my research!
Mr. Wily, control yourself. I see the committee is in agreement. And so, the department chooses Thomas Light's research into robots with independent thought. Thank you, everyone.
Why are you fools so blind? One day, Light. One day the world will know I was right all along. Bad memories make the worst dreams. A genius of my caliber needs sleep to keep his brain in gear. Wait. That research from my youth. Yes, now I'll show you, Light!
So yes, it is Mega Man 11. Full disclosure here, I'm doing post-commentary because this is my first actual recording with my HD PVR, so I didn't really want to try and do live commentary in case something went wrong with the test recordings. So I'm just going to do post-commentary for this. So I hope that's okay with people. At the laboratory of Thomas Light, father of modern robot society, many hard-working robots have arrived for their annual maintenance checkup, of course. And this game has full voice acting. Enjoy.
All systems nominal. You're in great shape, Blockman.
All thanks to you, Doc. You built me rock solid. Well, I can hear the construction yard calling. Block out.
Good luck out there. Roll, how many checkups are left?
Let's see. We just finished with Blockman. That leaves Torchman, Acid Man, Impact Man, Bounce Man, Fuse Man, Tundra Man, and Blast Man. Just 7 to go.
Oh, brother, there's no end to them. Doc, how about giving your favorite assistant a break?
I don't need a break, Otto. You know, for a robot, you sure do complain a lot. Now let's crank it up a gear.
Oh, I ain't a machine. I mean, I am, but still.
Mr. Torchman, please proceed to the... Oh, earthquake!
What on earth? Roll, Otto, hurry to me!
Splendid to see you again, Light.
Wily!
Doctor, what's going on? Stand back, everyone. I'll handle this.
Megaman!
This is no time for your heroics. I've simply come to give Dr. Light a message.
Then kindly be quick about it.
Of course. You see, I recalled some old research. The very invention you so coldly crushed when we were students together. Or has your memory failed you?
Our university days. A device. It can't be.
Oh, but it can! Your objections wouldn't stifle me forever. I have perfected my design. And now we'll see who was right all along.
Dr. Light, what's the ruckus?
Perfect timing. The lot of you will make excellent test subjects.
Wow! Who are you calling a test subject?
Quickly, you must all run and hide.
Too late. Speed here.
My robots.
Over here, Light.
That speed! What have you done?
Dang it! Nobody blocks Blockman!
Let those robots go, Dr. Wily!
I have a better idea. At last the world will bow down to the genius of Dr. Wily!
Doctor, I'll go after Wily.
Wait, Megaman! Wily's invention is called the Double Gear System. It's designed to push robots far beyond their normal strength and speed. If he really has completed it, I'm afraid you won't stand a chance.
But we can't just let him get away!
Megaman, I can tell you won't be stopped. Very well. This is the prototype double gear system that Wily developed back at Robot University. If I install this into your circuits, you may be able to stop him. But it's dangerous. Double gear places great strain on robot systems.
I can take it, Doctor. I want to do this no matter the cost. Hook me up!
As you wish. The installation will take some time. There's a lot of work to do. The double gear system is fully installed. Megaman, rise and shine!
Go get him, Mega Buddy! And remember, your old pal Otto is here to help out.
Megaman, that dirty Wily won't know what hit him.
Megaman, you're doing a noble thing. Be careful out there.
Doctor, roll. Otto, I'll be back soon.
So you have the option of viewing an explanation of the double gear system and the techniques. I will explain that as we go on. Also, I apologize for the notifications that show up for the Switch. That's something I can't officially turn off. But anyway, so we've got our 8 Robot Masters. It's been a long time since I've done an LP of Mega Man, so yeah, Blockman, Acid Man, Blast Man, Bounce Man, and so on and so forth. But we also have a shop.
To help you.
We are going to be getting bolts. And then if you press right, you can save. I am sorry for the notification stuff. I don't know if I think there's a way you can turn those off on Switch, but I already recorded the whole game, so it's too late now. I'm going to go in weakness order. And for those of you that remember when this game was first announced, it did release with a demo where Blockman was the only playable demo stage. So I've had lots of practice with this stage, and here I'm showing off what the gear system powers do. If you hit the RL button, it gives you power gear, which makes your attack stronger, and if you use a fully charged shot, you get a double charged shot. And if you hit the L trigger, you turn on the speed gear, which slows down time for everyone, including Mega Man, which gives you plenty of time to avoid attacks. If you saw as I was trying to point out in the bottom left there, underneath your weapon and life energy gauge is the double gear gauge. Whenever you activate the gear system, it'll slowly fill up that bar, and when it hits red, it overheats, and then you aren't able to use double gear or use a charge shot for a few seconds. I think it's about like 10-15 seconds. It's a good amount of time. But don't overuse it too much if you're in a dangerous situation, otherwise you're going to be left really vulnerable. You have the slide and charge shot back, unlike Mega Man 9 and 10, which, by the way, I still really love Mega Man 9 and 10, but it is nice to see the slide and charge shot back, specifically for Mega Man, and you don't have to play as a separate character. Here I'm showing off how speed gear works. If you use speed gear, as I mentioned earlier, it does slow down time. Another new thing is Mega Man's charge shot. Here's the powered gear, which gives you a double charge shot. The way this game works now is Mega Man's charge shot can actually knock away shields, including the Met shields, as you saw there. So if you use the double charge shot, get rid of Mets in one shot without having to wait for them to attack first. Then you have these wheel enemies. I'm sorry, I actually don't know the enemy names offhand. There is a bio in this game that does tell you the names of every single enemy type in the game. I did not memorize those, unfortunately. So anyway, Blockman Stage. It is very traditional. You have standard pits. The big gimmick for the stage is a lot of dropping blocks everywhere, as you've probably noticed. This mini-boss here, he used to give me a lot of trouble. He's kind of like the boss in one of the Wily castle stages in Megaman 5, except instead of you having to shoot the platforms to get the attack off, it'll actually separate itself, and the only spot you can hit are the eyes. It's actually pretty simple. And again, if you use the speed gear, it makes pretty much everything in this game super easy because it slows down time for everyone. It does slow down time for yourself as well, but you have plenty of time. It gives you plenty of reaction time as opposed to not using it. And while this game's gimmick is to use the power gear and the speed gear, you can totally play this game as if those gears didn't exist, and you'll be fine. Certain parts will be a little bit more challenging without using it, such as spots like here, using the speed gear. Oh, actually, right here, one of the best things about Megaman 11 is you have Rush Coil, but Rush Coil is can be activated from the pause menu or as a dedicated button press this time. So anytime you want, you can just call out Rush. I think it's the L2 button. It's the L buffer button for me because I'm playing this on the Switch. But this game is also on Xbox One and PS4. So, and as I showed off there, that is the power of the speed gear, giving you plenty of time to react as well as lay on as much damage as you possibly can to enemies before they get a chance to move. And it's also very helpful for spots like this where you have moving platforms as well as blocks that will that'll try to knock you into pits. It's, again, not necessary to beat the stage. You can totally make these jumps without them, but it's there to help, so don't feel bad about needing to use the power and speed gears. They're there to help you. In fact, there's points in this game where I feel like the game wants you, like, you don't have to use the speed gear, as I mentioned, but the game really likes to show that, hey, you should probably use it because it's going to make this particular spot much easier. You can also farm for bolts and weapon energy and life energy. Right in this spot here is actually a really nice spot to grind for bolts and life if you need it, because enemies will keep spawning out of those holes there. I'm not gonna show. I was gonna show off, but then I got cocky. Oh, here's something else new. You have this item loop here, where again you can just run through it and grab it, and you'll get an item. But if you use the speed gear, it slows down the rotation, so you can actually decide which item you want. As you can see there, I got an energy tank. Energy tanks are back! Huzzah! I know a lot of people would compare this game to a previous game, Mighty Number 9, that came out about 2 years prior to this. And I don't want to compare this to Mighty Number 9 because, in my honest opinion, they're two completely different games. Just because one was created by Keiji Inafune doesn't necessarily mean that they should be compared to each other, but that's a whole nother story. Now, something that this game likes to do is they will show you a mini-boss in an easy area, and then a few rooms later they'll give you the same mini-boss with a slight twist, with this situation being he's on the conveyor belt. And here's another new enemy, Anti-Eddie, or Evil Eddie, where you'll find an item, but then Dr. Wily made an evil version of Eddie that'll try to run away when you try to get the item, so you have to use the speed gear to finish him off before he runs away. It's actually pretty funny. I know I'm talking really fast, I'm sorry, but that's because I'm doing post-commentary and my original video footage went by a little too fast sometimes because I've beaten this game quite a few times already. So I apologize if my commentary sounds like I'm speeding through here. But anyway, right here is what I was trying to mention before. You can get bolts again, like in Mega Man 9 and 10. And right here is a very easy spot to grind in. You can get bolts, you can get energy, you can get... another item that can drop is you'll get gears. A gear will actually refill your gear gauge, so you don't have to wait for the cooldown to happen. It automatically cools down your gear system so you can use it again. This also means that if you pick one up when you're overheating, it completely refills the gauge that way too. And here's another good example of using the speed gear. In this particular section, you have to run through this miniature maze before it gets crushed by this trash compactor. If you use the speed gear, it gives you plenty of time to avoid it. Now, right here, I think the game expects you to use the speed gear to jump on this falling block first, but in my experience, I never was able to get the timing right, so I just used rush. And right there again, with the gear item, as I showed there, doesn't matter how much of the gear system you've used before it overheats. If you pick up the gear item, it automatically cools down your gear system. Now right here is where the game really expects... This is the perfect example of using the speed gear because, oh man, these jumps are tight without using the speed gear. It is totally makeable without it. It doesn't look like it sometimes. There are definitely stages that feel like it has the speed gear in mind, but I've seen playthroughs of this. I know it's doable without the speed gear and the power gear. It's just the game really wants you to use them because it's the new thing. It wants to show it off, and that's totally fine. But the whole point of this puzzle is to wait for the gears. Is to wait for the blocks to fall and then use the blocks to come back up. I screwed up and overshot my jump here, so what I'm trying to do... There we go. See, that's another way you can skip through stuff. What I was thinking of doing was calling Rush, and then I realized if you call Rush on those conveyor belts, it's going to push Rush off the edge, so you have to use the speed gear if you're going to want to do a fast movement there. This stage also has a lot of invisible enemies that are going to try and shoot you off the ledge. Thankfully, you can see, as you can tell, you can see where they're going to be before they show up. But it's still something that, when I first played this game too, I didn't see that there was, like, they were going to show up when they do. So, they're tricky sometimes, but it's not too bad. There's another thing too, these stages... Comparatively to, like I say, Mega Man 9 and 10, these stages go on for quite a while. I mean, I did show the intro, but this stage has been going on for a good 5-6 minutes. That's a little long for classic Mega Man, but oh well. We're at the end. What I do like about the stage is it started out in daytime, and the further along you go, it got progressively darker, and now it's nighttime. Anyway, we're at Blockman here. And the interesting thing about Blockman is he'll just kind of run back and forth. He won't actually start attacking you until you attack first. And then whenever he jumps, he's going to be jumping directly where you're standing. So you'll have plenty of time to avoid where he's going to be. And then he's going to attack with his drop blocker ability, which is pretty easy to avoid. Now, something that all bosses do is they also have the double gear system installed, and each one will use a specific gear. Right now, Blockman is using power gear, which turns him into this giant stone golem, which, in order to damage, you have to shoot the giant core on his stomach. He's going to try and slap the ground. When he slaps the ground, you want to be as far away from him as you can. If he corners you like he did me, then you're going to be in a little bit of trouble. Thankfully, I found an energy tank. Don't feel bad about using those because that's what they're there for. And then when he punches the ground, you're going to want to stand as close to him as possible to avoid that. And his other attack is to just swipe the ground to throw boulders at you, to throw blocks at you, and to avoid that, you want to stay as far from him as possible. Now, after you take half his health down again, he'll go into his desperation move where he's just going to stand there and chuck blocks at you. The best thing I can do is just do what I'm doing here. Get the timing right of just jumping over him. You could also just use a charge shot to plow right through it. And actually right now I'm going to show off If you use the power gear and the charge shot, you actually use a double charge shot, which actually does do double the damage. The second shot actually ignores invulnerability frames, so you can get 2 big charge shots in at once. But that's Blockman. He's pretty simple, and since they give you an energy tank in the stage, as long as you don't need to use it before the boss fight, you should be fine. This was the stage used in the demo for a reason. It's pretty simple, and at least I think so. It's not super, like, it's got challenging spots in it, and I have practiced this game a lot. Oh, but here's the best thing about Mega Man 11. You actually get the chance to use the special moves when you learn them. So here we got Block Dropper. You can drop 4 blocks, or if you use Power Gear, you can drop like 16 blocks. It's ridiculous. And then it also gives you the opportunity to show you how it works in game. So instead of having to wait until you're actually in the game to test it out, you can actually test what the ability is before the next stage, which is something I hope Mega Man 12 does, assuming there is going to be a Mega Man 12 anytime soon.
I can now create new items for you.
Okay, Mega, what'll it be?
Now here's the interesting thing about the shop is the game does upgrade the shop, but it upgrades based on certain criteria that you do in a stage. Like I got Buster Plus, you get that for doing a certain amount of regular Mega Buster shots in a stage. I think I got the Energy Balancer for collecting a lot of energy capsules or something like that. I'm not entirely sure how it works.
Ta-da! All ready. Are you sure? Ta-da! All ready. Are you sure?
All right. Okay, I'm sorry. I was just letting Roll talk. She says that every time you select an item. Are you sure? Ta-da! Are you sure? Ta-da! I love it. It's so adorable. And then you also have a save system, which makes things a lot simpler. I'll go into more of certain things later. That's it for part 1. I know I did a lot of quick talking and ramblings on this part. A lot of stuff happens in the first part, and I was trying to explain as much as I could. But yeah, I'm glad to be back to recording again. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of Mega Man 11, and I will be back for part 2. See you guys then.